All right, so I caught on to something. Uh, this is a follow-up which happened 2 hours after the video about work. All right, so video 125, and I ended video 125, and this is something I think like is actually it's very important because I ended video 125, even though it was dramatic, even though it was like one of those, oh, what's going on? We want what? I ended video 125 in a more questioning. How can I take responsibility for what happened? Because in my head, everything that happened was like unfair and whatever it is. And why is he like this? And why is the boss acting this way? And I see it and I understand it, but like I just could not understand how his basically age is still allowing him to behave this way. And so I basically asked myself the question: How can I take hold responsibility for putting myself in this position? So part of the things that I was thinking about was like the actual engagement. Like it's funny because I am literally learning from my mistakes as I am engaging with them. Right? Like this is the service of the video. And ultimately, I started thinking, what if that's basically it's the way I talk to him? What if it's because maybe we have a prior relationship? What if it's just the pressure? What if it's because we signed the agreement, the contract in a more hey, and I literally am like this, right? And when I say hey, because I imagine that's how people see me, especially the way I speak. Like I move straight, but when I'm speaking, I'm more flowy. So most of the fuckers, man, that I know, especially like adults, are stiff as hell. And when I mean stiff, I mean literally one of like the people that kind of like can't move their hands properly because of like how stiff they are, like the same positions all day, right? So their entire like they need to stretch everything out. But anyway, so maybe I'm too stretched. I need to be a bit more stiff. But that's what I think, right? So when I go to work, I'm basically a bit stiff. And not stiff in any way, stiff and being trying to be conscious, trying to be like not understanding but not knowing what to do. So ultimately, I just have a conversation in the best way I think I could for them to understand it. And it's not really going to go anywhere simply because when I'm there, the vibe is different than when I'm actually on the phone working. And that's the thing. It's because I need people to understand my vibe in order to be able to work with me when I'm in like the working vibe. Because ultimately, when it comes to work, it's work. Like we have to do some stuff. And so far, my method is like kind of pointing in the right direction, but that doesn't seem to work. I tried a couple of times to actually like build something, but I think what I automatically opted into right now when it came to like my direction at how I'm doing the work is let me just do it and I'll explain how I did it to them. Right? Let me just do it and I sit with them and I show them how like I did it. At least the first one. They need space. I need space. Let me just do my thing and then go back to them. Because ultimately, like if I right now try to pull them with me, there's a high chance I won't. That's actually a good thing to say. Uh, Maybe I'll call a meeting for them tomorrow. Huh. Okay, so like that's fun. I want to do that. I actually want to set a meeting with these guys. Why not? Yeah, I want to set a meeting with these guys, and then we'll be basically calendar. Set a meeting with the guys tomorrow, and maybe we'll explain to them that if each of us right now focuses on succeeding in what they're doing, then by the time things calm down and you guys would have like set up, we'll be able to meet midway and just kind of like exchange what we learned and those kinds of transitions. I think that is actually legitimately a very good approach. A very good approach because each one of them is probably like stressing on their own thing because of what's the changes that are happening. And the whole thing about this, I think if I just like I have to send it to them right now because maybe I actually was too harsh on them. Maybe I didn't know how to explain this to myself. That maybe if the plan was from the beginning for me to do one campaign and then basically they're engaged with me, I'm not teaching them anything. Then after it's done, I actually like sit with them and like check on the things that make it a success or no, and like explain to them what I did and basically experiment with them. Because then every campaign will be treated as a test to achieve success. Because we literally have to kind of like see this didn't work, we have to change it, this didn't work, this could work better, this could work better. We have to conduct all these kinds of tests. And we have to push a certain kind of way. So, and we have to test the formatting, we have to test positioning, we have to find the KPIs basically of the campaign, the strengths and the weaknesses, and we have to like measure them when it comes to that to the DIA. Uh, okay, okay. I really think like I'm gonna stop this or pause it. I think we're at 6 minutes. I'm gonna think about a couple of things and write them down and then come back to you. All right. So basically, how can I notice this detour in action that is not cool in the future? That's the last thing I wrote. Then I received a call because I went somewhere today and I wanted to see somebody. This detour in action, I think the way I was trying to communicate with them was no longer it was very much I'm disappointed instead of supportive. It was being too formal, maybe. Formal, which comes up manipulative. So the best thing I should start thinking of is anytime I see resistance, I need to find a way to reconsider my strategy of approach to the actual group because like I have to see how what's making something about the strategy or the way I'm approaching them is making them resist, right? Because anyone can change, anyone can move into a different place, but like we have to create the certain environments that allow them to like flourish. And I'm saying from experience, like when my environment is a lot more, I want to say, set up around the environment that I want, then it becomes easier for me to do stuff, just like randomly do stuff and be productive. So I'm assuming like the way I interact with them is the way I'm interacting with them is what causes the resistance, right? So we're gonna see resistance. The resistance source is me because I'm the new thing. I'm the friction. I am the actual place where all of them are going to actually where all of them are going to be useful, to be connected, to be what's the word? I don't want to say connected. I don't want to say connected. And I just thought of sending this video to them, by the way, so I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but I'll play with it a bit. But so I don't want to say connected. I want to say like my approach with them is very, right now, systematic. But what I need to do is I need to find a way where because they're not going to accept me, and I have to find a way for me to lead them into the direction that we want to go, because if I just throw it on them and expect them to change, they won't. So my job is a lot bigger than I saw it first. My job is literally to kind of like, at first I was like,